When God is about to bless your love life, the first sign you will see is that the ground beneath you begins to shake. The storms you thought you had already survived seem to gather again. Old wounds resurface, old doubts creep back into your heart, and even people you trusted may begin to turn against you. This is not a sign of abandonment. It is a signal that God is clearing the path for something greater. Whenever God prepares to pour a blessing into your life, especially in the sacred area of love, He first removes the counterfeit, the distractions, and the hindrances that could rob you of His best. So, if you find yourself in a season where relationships are crumbling, where the people you once thought would stay forever are suddenly gone, do not despair. That is not rejection, that is divine protection. God knows what you cannot see. He knows the hidden intentions, the unseen traps, the weight of a heart that is not aligned with yours. He knows who will honor your spirit and who will crush it. And before He blesses your love life with the partner He has ordained for you, He will allow the false ones to fall away, no matter how much you thought you needed them. The blessing of love is not light. It is not something God gives casually. It is one of the most profound gifts He can bestow upon a soul, to unite two people in purpose, in destiny, in truth. But before that blessing comes, there is always a refining. You will be tested. You will be stretched. You will be purified, because God will not allow you to enter a divine union with a broken, bitter, or half-hearted spirit. He prepares you just as He prepares the one He has chosen for you. And the preparation often feels like loss. But what feels like loss is actually the chiseling away of everything that cannot stay with you in the next chapter. When God is about to bless your love life, you may notice that isolation begins to surround you. The friends who once invited you everywhere, the voices that once kept you distracted, may grow silent. That silence is not loneliness. It is God's classroom. It is in the quiet seasons that God shapes your discernment, strengthens your patience, and builds the character that will sustain the love He is sending your way. Do not mistake the silence as punishment. It is the sacred ground where you are learning to depend not on human approval, but on divine direction. And let me tell you this with all the authority of truth: when God ordains someone for your life, there is nothing in this world that can keep them away. But when God removes someone, there is nothing you can do to make them stay. And so, when you feel the sting of someone walking away, let your heart not cling to them. Instead, lift your eyes to God and say, if this is not from you, take it away. And if you have something better, prepare me for it. That surrender is the key that unlocks the blessing. Because God does not bless stubbornness, He blesses obedience. When God is about to bless your love life, the enemy will fight you harder than ever. You will face temptations, counterfeits, and illusions that look good on the outside but are hollow on the inside. They will appear at the very edge of your breakthrough, trying to convince you to settle. But hear me clearly, counterfeits always come before the real blessing. They are the enemy's last attempt to trap you before God releases what He has prepared. If you settle for what looks good but is not from God, you will miss what is truly divine. That is why discernment in this season is everything. You must learn to see not with your eyes, but with your spirit. And if you wonder how you will know the difference, understand this: what comes from God will bring peace, not confusion. It will strengthen your faith, not weaken it. It will lift you closer to Him, not pull you away. A love that is blessed by God will not manipulate, it will not deceive, it will not drain you of joy. Instead, it will feel like alignment, purpose, and truth. That is the hallmark of divine love. It bears the fruit of peace. But you cannot receive such love until you yourself are transformed. Many ask God for a blessed partner, but remain unwilling to become the kind of person who can carry such a blessing. You cannot pray for someone loyal while you still entertain disloyalty. You cannot ask for someone who honors you while you dishonor yourself. You cannot plead for someone who walks in faith while you are still chained by fear. God will not give you what you are unprepared to protect. And so, when He is about to bless your love life, He begins first with you. He works on your heart, your mind, your habits, your character. Because He knows the weight of the blessing, and He will not allow you to destroy it through immaturity. So, if you feel like God is pressing on your weaknesses right now, if He is convicting you of patterns you need to release, do not resist. That is the refining fire. That is the evidence that He is getting you ready. The season of preparation may feel heavy, but the blessing will outweigh the pain. The partner He is shaping for you will not just be someone to walk beside you in comfort, but someone who will ignite your purpose, fuel your destiny, and stand with you in every storm. That kind of love cannot be rushed, and it cannot be fabricated. It can only be given by God in His timing, in His way. And remember this truth, timing is everything. You may think you are ready now, but God sees what you do not see. He knows the years ahead, the battles you have not yet faced, the lessons you still need to learn. And so, when God delays, it is never denial. It is protection. It is alignment. It is love in its purest form, because He refuses to give you something too soon and watch it crumble under the weight of unpreparedness. When God is about to bless your love life, something begins to stir inside you that words cannot fully capture. It is as though your spirit senses a shift long before your eyes can see it. The heart becomes restless, not because it is empty, but because it knows it was made for something more. You begin to feel an awakening, a call to rise above mediocrity, a longing to step into a love that carries divine weight. And let me tell you, this stirring is not a mistake. It is the evidence that God Himself is moving, preparing, and aligning something greater than what you have ever known. God does not simply match two people. He weaves destinies. He intertwines paths with a purpose that extends beyond the fleeting emotions of attraction. When He blesses your love life, it is not just for your happiness. It is for the fulfillment of His design. That is why, before He releases this blessing, He often disrupts the patterns you once thought were normal. The relationships that were built on shallow foundations begin to collapse. The desires you once chased begin to lose their grip. God purges what is unworthy of the next chapter. And though at times it feels like heartbreak, it is in truth the greatest mercy of all. Understand this: when God strips away, He is never leaving you barren. He is clearing the space for something divine. He knows the weight of what He is about to place in your hands. And He will not allow it to be contaminated by what is unworthy. So if you are watching doors close in your love life, rejoice, because closed doors are often the first sign that God is about to open one no man can shut. When God is about to bless your love life, He also tests your trust. He allows you to walk through seasons where you cannot see the full picture, where questions outweigh answers, where the silence feels endless. Why? Because love ordained by God requires faith and faith must be cultivated before it is rewarded. If you cannot trust God in the unseen, how will you trust Him to sustain what He gives you? The waiting season is not a punishment. It is a classroom of faith. It teaches you to lean not on your own understanding, but to rest in the assurance that God is never late, never careless, never indifferent. And mark this, the blessing of love from God is not just about finding a partner. It is about finding alignment. Alignment with your destiny. Alignment with your values. Alignment with the deepest calling God has placed within you. That kind of love will not compete with God in your heart. It will complement His presence in your life. It will not distract you from your purpose. It will amplify it. And that is why many relationships fall apart before the true one arrives, because God refuses to let anything lesser take the place of what He has destined for you. Now, let me speak directly to the battle many face. When God is preparing to bless your love life, the enemy seeks to intercept it. He sends counterfeit after counterfeit, people who look the part but lack the heart. They may speak with charm but carry deception. They may promise love but deliver chaos. These counterfeits always appear right before the blessing, because their purpose is to tempt you into settling. But hear this clearly, what God sends will never require you to sacrifice your peace, your dignity, or your closeness to Him. It will never come wrapped in confusion, lies, or constant turmoil. If it is from God, it will be steady, it will be whole, and it will resonate with the truth in your spirit. When God is about to bless your love life, He also strengthens your discernment. Suddenly, what once enticed you no longer satisfies. The same games that once pulled you in now repel you. The flattery that used to blind you no longer moves you. Why? Because God is sharpening your vision, teaching you to see beyond appearances, guiding you to recognize the difference between the glitter of temptation and the gold of divine love. That shift in your spirit is not accidental. It is preparation. God is equipping you to protect what He is about to release. Another sign that God is about to bless your love life is the healing of old wounds. You may find yourself confronting past hurts, revisiting old memories, and dealing with pains you thought were buried. Do not resist this process. God cannot pour fresh love into a heart still poisoned by yesterday's bitterness. He brings those wounds to the surface not to shame you, but to cleanse you. He exposes the brokenness not to condemn you, but to heal you. And only when that healing flows can you fully receive the love He has prepared. Because divine love is not meant to be built on brokenness. It is meant to be built on wholeness. And let me declare this, God's timing is perfect. He will not let you miss what belongs to you. The love He ordains for you will not pass you by, even if it feels delayed. That delay is not rejection, it is orchestration. God may be working on you, or He may be working on the one He has chosen for you. He may be aligning circumstances, removing obstacles, or preparing the environment where your paths will meet. And when it all comes together, it will not be forced, it will flow. Because when God writes the story, there is a divine ease, a rhythm that cannot be manufactured. You may find yourself tempted to compare your journey to others. You may wonder why friends are marrying, why others are posting pictures of love while you sit alone. But hear me, comparison is the thief of trust. What God is preparing for you is unlike what He is preparing for them. Their story is theirs, yours is written by the author of time Himself. And when it arrives, it will be so uniquely tailored to you that no comparison will even make sense. God's blessing for your love life will not be ordinary. It will be a reflection of His intimate knowledge of who you are and what you need. When God is about to bless your love life, He also calls you to higher standards. He removes the tolerance for games, dishonesty, and half-hearted love. He places within you a holy dissatisfaction with anything less than His best. That dissatisfaction may feel painful, but it is actually a safeguard. It ensures that you will not settle for what is beneath the divine. So if you find yourself restless in relationships that once seemed acceptable, give thanks. That restlessness is God's way of saying, I am preparing something greater. And finally, when God is about to bless your love life, you will sense a peace that surpasses logic. It may not come with fireworks or drama. It may come with quiet certainty. A stillness in your spirit that whispers, this is it. This is the blessing I prepared for you. Peace is the seal of God's approval. And when that peace floods your heart, you will know that all the waiting, all the loss, all the pain was not in vain. When God is about to bless your love life, He begins to reorder your entire existence. Suddenly, the things that once occupied your attention lose their grip. The shallow pursuits that used to fill your time feel empty, and you start craving something deeper, something purer, something real. That shift is not random. It is God pulling your heart into alignment with His greater plan, because love that comes from Him cannot be built on distraction. It must be built on focus, on clarity, on purpose. And when God is preparing to release that blessing, He draws you away from the noise so that you can hear His voice more clearly. You see, love is not just about affection, it is about assignment. When God sends someone into your life, it is not only to satisfy your emotions, it is to strengthen your mission. That is why the preparation feels so demanding, because He is not only preparing you for romance, He is preparing you for responsibility. Divine love carries weight, and that weight requires maturity. The person God is sending is not just a companion, they are a partner in destiny. They are someone who will walk with you in faith, who will carry the load with you when life grows heavy, who will remind you of God's promises when doubt tries to silence your hope. And if you are not ready for that kind of love, you will mishandle it. So God works on you first, molding your character, refining your spirit, and teaching you how to love in a way that reflects His truth. When God is about to bless your love life, do not be surprised if He calls you into a season of surrender. He may ask you to release relationships you still cling to. He may nudge you to let go of habits that erode your worth. He may urge you to stop seeking validation from people and start finding it in Him alone. That surrender is not easy. It tears at the flesh. It challenges the ego. It breaks the comfort of routine. But without surrender, there can be no blessing. God cannot pour new wine into old wineskins. He cannot release a divine love into a heart that is still cluttered with compromise. Surrender clears the ground, making space for the seeds of love that He Himself intends to plant. And let me speak plainly, the love that comes from God is unlike any other. It does not manipulate. It does not drain you of your joy. It does not chain you with fear. Instead, it nourishes, it uplifts, it breathes peace into your soul. And that is why the enemy tries so hard to counterfeit it. The enemy knows that if you experience love as God intended, you will walk in a power and unity that threatens every dark force. So before the blessing arrives, you will often face distractions, temptations, and false promises designed to lure you away. This is why you must stay anchored in God, because only His voice can reveal what is real and what is deception. When God is about to bless your love life, He increases your sensitivity to truth. Suddenly, the charm of empty words loses its power. The thrill of superficial connection fades. What you begin to crave is substance, honesty, and depth. That craving is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is God training your heart to hunger for what truly lasts, so that when the right one comes, you will not miss them by chasing what is temporary. This training season may feel lonely, but loneliness in God's hands is never wasted. It becomes a refining fire and burning away illusions and preparing you for something enduring. Another sign that God is about to bless your love life is the restoration of hope. Maybe you thought your time had passed. Maybe betrayal left you broken. Maybe rejection convinced you that a love was not meant for you. But just when despair tries to settle in, God begins whispering hope back into your heart. He reminds you through small signs, quiet nudges, and undeniable confirmations that your story is not finished. That stirring of hope is not imagination. It is divine preparation. God revives your faith because He knows the blessing is near, and He will not allow you to enter it with a defeated spirit. When God is preparing you, He often humbles you. He shows you the flaws in your own heart, not to condemn you, but to heal you. He reveals the areas where pride has clouded your judgment, where selfishness has poisoned your actions, where fear has shackled your choices. And though the process stings, it is necessary, because love blessed by God cannot be carried on the back of arrogance, insecurity, or fear. It requires humility, patience, and trust. The humbling season may feel like breaking, but it is actually building. God is building you into the kind of person who can love selflessly, who can forgive freely, who can stand firmly. And hear this truth: when God finally unveils the one He has prepared for you, it will not be a random encounter. It will be a divine appointment. Every detail will fall into place, not by coincidence, but by orchestration. You will look back and see how every delay, every heartbreak, every lonely night was preparing you for this moment. You will see that nothing was wasted, because every tear watered the soil where your blessing would grow. God is not a God of accidents. He is a God of design. And when He designs love, it is flawless in its timing, powerful in its purpose, and undeniable in its presence. When God is about to bless your love life, your entire atmosphere begins to shift. You carry yourself differently. You speak differently. You think differently. Not because you are trying to impress anyone, but because God has awakened a new confidence in you. That confidence is not pride. It is the awareness of your worth in Him. And that awareness is what draws the right one into your life, because true love can only recognize you when you first recognize yourself as a creation of God's purpose. And let me remind you, God's blessing and love is not fragile. It does not crumble under pressure. It does not dissolve in adversity. It is forged in the fire of His will, anchored in His truth, and sustained by His strength. That is why it is worth waiting for. That is why it is worth enduring the trials, resisting the counterfeits, and embracing the preparation. Because when the blessing comes, it will be more than you ever imagined. It will be love that points you closer to God, love that sustains you through storms, love that reflects the beauty of His design. When God is about to bless your love life, the atmosphere around you begins to shift in ways that cannot be explained by logic alone. Suddenly, conversations that once left you confused lose their power, And people who once drained your energy no longer feel connected to your path. This is not coincidence. It is God drawing a line between what was and what will be. He is closing doors to protect you from distractions, and at the same time, He is opening windows that pour light into your spirit. That light is His signal that you are moving closer to something sacred. You see, love blessed by God is not ordinary. It does not arrive through luck or chance. It is orchestrated, and before it arrives, God begins to align your inner world with the outer reality He is preparing. He shifts your desires, redirects your focus, and even stirs discontent with anything that is beneath His will. That restlessness you feel is not random. It is divine preparation. God does not want you to be comfortable in relationships that waste your purpose. He wants you to hunger for the kind of love that carries His fingerprint, the kind of bond that reflects His wisdom and strength. When God is about to bless your love life, He places you under the discipline of waiting. Waiting may feel like silence, but it is actually one of the loudest classrooms of faith. In waiting, you learn to separate impulse from guidance, desire from discernment. You learn to recognize that timing is not just about when you want something, but about when you are ready to carry it. Too many people think love is about finding someone to fill their loneliness, but God knows it is about finding someone to fulfill a purpose. That purpose cannot be rushed, and so He teaches you patience, because what is rushed rarely lasts, but what is prepared by God stands unshaken. In this preparation, God also strengthens your identity. He teaches you who you are without a partner, so that when the blessing comes, you do not lose yourself within it. You cannot receive divine love if you are still desperate for human validation. So God strips away the need for constant approval. He teaches you to walk in dignity, to stand in confidence, to see your worth not through the eyes of others, but through His design. And once you know who you are in Him, you will not settle for anyone who cannot see you the way He sees you. And let me declare this with boldness: when the blessing is near, opposition increases. The enemy tries to attack your mind with doubt. He whispers lies that you will always be alone, that your past mistakes have disqualified you, that you are unworthy of true love. Those are not the words of God. They are chains meant to keep you from stepping into your destiny. But when you resist those lies and stand firm in God's truth, you prove that you are ready for the blessing. Because love from God cannot be embraced by a heart still bound by fear. It can only be received by a heart anchored in faith. Another sign that God is about to bless your love life is the sharpening of your vision for the future. Where once you may have drifted without direction, suddenly you begin to see clarity in your calling. You start to understand the kind of partner who can walk with you and the kind who cannot. This clarity is not arrogance. It is divine revelation. God is showing you that love is not just about companionship, it is about agreement. Two lives walking in opposite directions cannot build a future together. So He reveals your purpose before He reveals your partner. That way, when love arrives, you will not compromise destiny for desire. When God is preparing to bless you, He also tests your stewardship of love in small ways. How do you treat others? How do you forgive? How do you handle disappointment? These small tests reveal whether you can carry the greater blessing. Because if you cannot show kindness to those around you now, how will you nurture the one He sends? If you cannot forgive small offenses, how will you protect a bond through greater storms? God examines the heart. not to shame you, but to equip you. He knows that love without maturity collapses under pressure. So he matures you before entrusting you with his gift. When God's blessing is close, you will also notice an increase in inner peace even before the person arrives. Peace is God's way of steadying you, of preparing your heart so you will not be swayed by distractions. This peace allows you to walk with patience because you know what is coming cannot be stolen or delayed beyond its appointed time. That calm assurance is the evidence that God has already set things in motion. And when that peace fills you, it becomes a shield against desperation. You no longer chase after people who cannot see your worth because you know that what God has prepared will recognize you without you having to beg for recognition. Let me tell you this, when the blessing finally arrives, you will know it. There will be no endless cycles of doubt, no constant battle between love and confusion. What God sends will bring clarity, not chaos. It will confirm your spirit, not drain it. It will carry peace, not turmoil. It may still require effort, but it will not feel like bondage. Instead, it will feel like a sacred partnership where two lives intertwine under God's guidance. That is why the season before the blessing is so vital. It teaches you the difference between what merely excites you and what truly edifies you. And perhaps the most powerful truth of all is this: when God blesses your love life, the blessing will not only transform you, it will ripple outward. Others will see the strength, the peace, the unity, and they will know it was not built by human effort alone. They will see that your love carries the fragrance of God's presence, and it will inspire faith in others. Because divine love is not just personal, it is a testimony. It reveals to the world that God's design is always higher, always purer, always stronger than anything we could construct for ourselves. When God is about to bless your love life, He often takes you through a valley that looks nothing like the promise. He allows you to stand in the place where nothing seems to move, where prayers feel unanswered, where silence echoes louder than words. And yet that silence is not abandonment. It is preparation. God is building in you the strength to stand alone before He entrusts you with the strength to stand together. Because if you cannot be whole in Him when you are by yourself, you will not recognize the wholeness He brings through another. Love ordained by God is not built on desperation. It is built on completeness. Two whole people rooted in Him come together not out of need, but out of alignment. That is why the season before the blessing often feels like breaking, because God is stripping away the illusions that you need another person to complete you. No, God Himself is your completion. The one He sends will not fix your soul. They will complement your soul. They will not be your savior. They will be your partner. And when you enter love with that awareness, you will no longer cling to people out of fear. You will walk with them out of purpose. When God is about to bless your love life, He changes the way you see relationships entirely. What once looked like love, chaotic passion, constant pursuit, endless drama, suddenly looks like counterfeit. You begin to crave stability, honesty, and peace. You realize that love should not feel like a battlefield, but like a refuge. That awakening is God teaching you the language of divine love. Because when the real one arrives, it may not come with endless fireworks, but it will come with peace that silences doubt. And that peace is the evidence of His hand. God is not careless with matters of the heart. He knows the power of love to shape destinies, to build families, to impact generations. That is why He takes so much time to prepare it. If He is delaying, it is because He is perfecting. If He is withholding, it is because He is protecting. If He is pruning, it is because He is positioning. You may not understand it in the moment, but when the blessing comes, you will look back and see. Now I see. Now I understand why it had to be this way. And let us not overlook this. When God blesses your love life, the blessing is not meant to end with you. It is meant to overflow. The love He gives you will be so strong, so resilient, so rooted in Him, that it will touch everyone around you. People will see how you honor each other, how you stand together, how you endure storms without collapsing. And they will know this is not ordinary. They will know this love carries the seal of God's approval. That testimony alone will change hearts, because divine love preaches without words. When God is about to bless your love life, He equips you with wisdom you did not have before. Suddenly, you begin to see red flags where once you saw potential. You begin to set boundaries where once you tolerated chaos. You begin to say no to things that waste your time because you know your heart is worth more than games. That wisdom is a sign. It means God is shaping you into someone who will not waste His blessing. He does not give His treasures to those who will treat them carelessly. He gives them to those who have learned to value what is holy. Sometimes the preparation feels like loneliness, but it is not loneliness. It is refinement. It is in solitude that you hear God the clearest. It is in solitude that you discover who you are without noise. It is in solitude that you strengthen your relationship with Him, so that when love arrives, it will not distract you from Him. It will drive you deeper into Him. That is why God calls many into a season of aloneness before the blessing. He wants you to love Him first, so that you can love another through Him. And when God is about to bless your love life, He will bring tests of faith. You will face moments where you are tempted to compromise, to lower your standards, to accept less than what He has promised. Those tests are not to break you. They are to prove you. Every time you choose faith over fear, obedience over desperation, trust over panic, you are declaring to God that you are ready. The tests may feel harsh, but they are doors. Each door you pass through brings you closer to the blessing. When the blessing finally comes, it will not only heal what was broken, it will make you forget the pain of waiting. The joy will overshadow the tears, the peace will outweigh the storms, the purpose will silence the confusion. And you will know without a shadow of doubt that it was God. You will recognize His hand in the timing, in the details, in the peace that surrounds it. And in that moment, every disappointment will turn into testimony, every delay will turn into praise. When God is preparing to bless your love life, He does not simply rearrange your circumstances, He transforms your very spirit. He does not just bring you a partner. He first reshapes your heart to recognize what is real and to reject what is counterfeit. Many ask why the waiting feels so long, why prayers seem delayed, why doors appear closed, but understand this, God does not waste time. Every delay in your life has been a tool in His hand. Every silence has been a lesson in disguise, and every unanswered longing has been a furnace refining your soul. He is not merely concerned with giving you what you want. He is invested in making you ready for what He knows you need. And so, before He blesses your love life, God will often lead you into seasons where you learn to depend entirely on Him. He strips away attachments that were weakening you. He removes relationships that were leading you astray, and He exposes desires that were never aligned with His purpose. Do not misinterpret the pruning as punishment. It is protection. Do not misinterpret the silence as absence. It is preparation. God, in His wisdom, does not rush what is sacred. He is weaving together a future where the love He ordains will not collapse under pressure, but will stand unshaken because it was birthed in His timing. When God blesses your love life, the love that arrives will not mirror the world's definition. It will not be built on fleeting emotions or shallow appearances. It will be anchored in patience, in trust, in respect, mutual growth. This kind of love cannot be manufactured by human effort. It is sustained by divine alignment. It is not just about two hearts beating together. It is about two souls walking in purpose, two spirits recognizing that God is at the center. When you find such love, you will know it did not come from chance or coincidence. It came from the hand of the Almighty. But hear this truth before the blessing comes, that God often allows counterfeit loves to cross your path. Why? Because He wants you to learn discernment. He wants you to experience what is unstable so you can recognize stability. He wants you to encounter what is empty so you can value what is full. He wants you to see what fades so you can treasure what endures. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every disappointment, it is not wasted. It is training. It is God's way of sharpening your vision so that when the blessing finally arrives, you will not overlook it, you will not take it for granted, and you will not let it slip away. Understand this also, when God is about to bless your love life, He elevates your standards. What you used to tolerate, you can no longer accept. What once felt exciting but hollow, you now recognize as a distraction. This shift is not arrogance, it is alignment. God is showing you that your heart is too precious to be wasted on what does not carry His approval. And if you feel the world calling you to compromise, stand firm, because compromise today becomes regret tomorrow. But faithfulness today becomes testimony tomorrow. The love that comes from God will not leave you questioning your worth. It will affirm it. It will not drain your soul. It will strengthen it. It will not pull you away from God. It will draw you closer to Him. That is how you will know. For true love from God is never in competition with God. It is an extension of His goodness in your life. And when it arrives, you will feel the calm assurance that what He has joined together cannot be undone by man. So while you wait, do not let impatience sabotage your destiny. Do not let loneliness drive you into the arms of those who were never meant to carry your soul. Do not confuse activity with progress. Trust that God is not withholding. He is arranging. Trust that He is not ignoring you. He is protecting you. Trust that He is not delaying for no reason. He is writing a story that will be worth every tear and every prayer. And when the moment comes, when God releases the blessing, it will not come quietly. It will shift your life in ways you never imagined. You will see how every detour led you here, how every ending birthed a new beginning, how every season of silence prepared you for a love so loud in purpose that it drowns out every doubt. That love will not just change your days, it will transform your future. It will stand as evidence that God is faithful, that God rewards those who wait, that God fulfills what He promises. So hold on with unwavering faith. Keep your heart anchored in God, for He is the only foundation that can sustain true love. When He is at the center, no storm can destroy, no trial can separate, no enemy can succeed. And when God blesses your love life, you will finally see what it means to be loved not only by a person, but through the will of the one who created love itself. My friend, hear this with all the weight of eternity pressing upon it. When God is about to bless your love life, nothing in this world and nothing in the unseen realm can stand against it. What God ordains cannot be stolen, what He seals cannot be broken, and what He blesses cannot be cursed. You may have walked through lonely nights. You may have carried tears that no one saw. You may have felt forgotten and overlooked. But God has not abandoned you. He has been writing your story, shaping your heart, preparing your path. And when His appointed time arrives, the love He brings will silence every doubt and heal every wound. Do not let impatience push you into the counterfeit when the real blessing is near. Do not let fear convince you that you are unworthy of what God has promised. Do not let the whispers of doubt drown out the truth of His faithfulness. Stand firm. Hold fast. Keep your eyes lifted to the one who sees the beginning and the end. For when God moves, He moves with precision. When He opens the door, it will be undeniable. When He unites hearts under His hand, the union will carry His peace, His strength, and His purpose. So rise above the discouragement of the past, release the chains of bitterness and regret, and open your heart with expectancy. The blessing is not just about love, it is about destiny. It is about God revealing to you that He knows the desires of your heart, and He delights in fulfilling them at the perfect time. You are not waiting in vain. You are waiting on God. And when His blessing comes, it will exceed your imagination. It will glorify His name. And it will prove that no waiting season is wasted when it is spent trusting Him. Therefore, lift up your spirit and prepare yourself, for the blessing is nearer than you think. Hold on to your faith, keep your heart pure, and walk in obedience. For when God blesses your love life, it will not just change your relationship, it will change your life. And you will stand as living proof that those who trust in God will never be disappointed